Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new Kleros community call. This is Wednesday, October 9. It's amazing how close we are to the end of the year, right? Time definitely flies. So let's get started with some overview of the activities we had over the past week. So the first thing, the first update is about Kleros 2.0. We had a few weeks ago a bunch of call with a bunch of updates by JB about the new version of Kleros. And as we mentioned in that call, we plan to do the release sequentially. First, like light version that is going to be intended for lower value cases, and well, these cases are mostly those that we are working currently for enterprise use cases, like uh, basically the lemon fintech type of situation, all the consumer type of claims. So we are still on track, as we said in that call, to launch this new version, Kleros 2.0, the light version, before DevCon. So we planned this like a month to the future. We should be already launching this Kleros 2.0 light version. So it's all good that side. We are finalizing some fixes on the front end, working on the notification system to make sure that jurors do get the notification on time, and all good. So everything is going well on that side. So not much more to update, just regular development work. Another interesting thing to mention is that we launched as recently Proof of Humanity 2.0, the Gnosis chain, and we did governance vote. The Proof of Humanity DAO did this governance vote to reduce the deposit, and this is now executed. Maybe you want Jean to give some update about Proof of Humanity and speak about the new deposit parameters and things like that.
Yes, actually, it was a vote by the Kleros DAO that because we had to create a court dedicated to
Oh, right.
proof
Yeah,
of humanity. Yeah,
correct.
and before it was configured to go to the general court. The general court on Gnosis chain has higher payment per juror per vote. So now we voted that on the Kleros DAO. The court was created, and last week it was the court was switched to the new. Sorry, Proof of Humanity was switched to this new court. So now the deposit is, if I'm not mistaken, 42 xDAI, which is a lot lower than we had historically, and this is awesome because it lowers the barrier for people that wants to join the protocol. It was probably the main complaint, right, Federico? So
Yeah.
and the second thing is that since it's on Gnosis chain, it's very cheap to the transaction fees are very cheap, so that will also help. And right now there are not there are few people registered, so it's a kind of hard to get a vouch. But I am registered. I can vouch people, and soon I recommend everyone that is interested in Proof of Humanity to get acquainted with the platform and register, read the policy, not to lose your deposit. And there will be benefits for people registering. I think maybe this week there will be some announcements of other projects about this.
Cool. So yeah, if you want, you can start registering. I haven't registered yet. I mean, this is very. I mean, I should be leading by the example, of course, not. But I will register very soon. Um, okay. So Proof of Humanity, there is not that much more to say at the moment. So it's well, new version out there. So do register and get your profile and start vouching for people. Um, Another thing, I mean, I think worth mentioning, it's not specifically about Kleros, although it is connected to Kleros. So there is a new prediction market that is created by Clément as a side project, and so I think the launch is going to take place very soon. I mean, this is not secret because he already gave talks about this, so it's I'm not spoiling anything, but just making this little teaser. So as you know, Kleros um, is a distributed solution system that can be used for a lot of different things. Some of the most famous Kleros cases happened actually on prediction markets. It happened on Omen. There was one about how many deaths there would be on COVID in, I think it was in the first semester of 2020 or something like that. And there was this discussion on whether so, I mean, it was more or less than 1,000 deaths and in the United States. And so some sources said it was more, other sources said it was less. And of course, it got very politicized because it depended on which, I guess, side of the political spectrum you were, you tended to trust, different sources. So this went to Kleros for dispute resolution. And the other one, even more politicized, was about the Biden and Trump election. And so the market had to clear before the Electoral College would vote, would certify who was the actual winner of the election. So there was this dispute, and part of the people that had a interest in that prediction market were saying that the market should be declared invalid because it was not clear who the winner was at the moment the market had cleared. It went also to Kleros, and we could say that Kleros proved its sanity by correctly deciding that Biden won the election. Right, William?
I suppose, I remember that.
Okay, so well, and so here is a prediction market. So we have currently there is a new wave of prediction markets being launched, and Clement developed this as a side project. I'm not involved in the project. It's not a project done by the cooperative Kleros. I actually today I saw the interface for the first time, but of course here uses Kleros for dispute resolution. So this is why it's part of the Kleros ecosystem. So yeah, all good with this, and hopefully we'll get lots of traction and lots of users. I've been following prediction markets myself for, I would say, maybe 10 years. The first prediction markets I used were called inkling prediction markets, and this was even before crypto. So I hope someday they will be actually used because they have a lot of potential. I have also discussed prediction markets at length with one of the inventor of the prediction markets concept, Robin Hanson, and he was invited to our podcast a few years ago. So yeah, so hopefully Seer can offer a new version of prediction market with some interesting um, additions, in my view. That is the verification of markets through some curation that is based on Kleros. And it's also interesting to see how different tools that we develop at Kleros can be combined for governance of a DAO. Like, for example, you want to create a market in Seer, then you have to submit it, and then someone can challenge your market if they consider that it doesn't comply with the rules because it's not clear what are the decision parameters, in the sense of it's not clear, like, if how would you consider in the case of the COVID, what sources would be valid to decide how many COVID deaths that there were. So I think lots of the problems that we are seeing in prediction markets come from a poor definition of the rules for clearing the market. And I think that correct curation of markets through a better definition of rules and what should the conditions be fulfilled to have the market open will, I think, reduce lots of the disputes coming from prediction markets, and this will allow users to actually have more trust in. Okay, I know if I use this prediction market, it was previously like certified, and now the odds of this ending up in like a dispute and this will like is lower because this is a problem now. It's if this curation approach that we tried this in the past ourselves when we were working with Omen, this can reduce the amount of disputes happening from that type of prediction market. So okay, so this, I mean, not a Kleros project, but still project in our ecosystem. So we want the project to succeed, of course, and it's as it brings more liquidity and more use cases to Kleros. So, and if you want to know more about this, you can contact Clement and he can explain better about how this works and why it's different from other prediction markets that were developed in the past. Okay, so that is also news from this week. We'll let now William give his update and also maybe clarify some rumors about you being Satoshi Nakamoto. William, can you clarify that, please? So everyone knows.
I can confirm absolutely that I'm not Satoshi Nakamoto. Unfortunately, I was busy with the first years of my grad school at the time. I was distracted and wasn't focused on what the real priority should have been.
Okay, I believe you, William.
But so I have a presentation at DEF CON in a few weeks. So I've been preparing that. I'm going to be talking about number value oracles. So this is a tough subject that we've thought about a lot over the last years. It's sort of come up from time to time, little bursts of new research. This sort of basic question of, it's a specific version of the question we ask all the time in Kleros research of how should you design Kleros-style Schelling point oracles that have non-binary choices, what incentive and voting systems should you use to get people to give you complicated information about a question that's not just yes or no, that you can then piece together an answer and incentivize them properly. In the special case where you want them to give you a number, which is, of course, really important for all kinds of disputes if you want to have a partial settlement between a contractor and a small business. If you want to have some claim, some specific damages awarded in a decentralized insurance, you would want to have some kind of number output. So I'm going to talk about kind of the basic ingredients to go into these kind of number value oracles, some of the proposals that people have had over the years from the research we've done here at Kleros, all of which is compatible with Kleros V2. To other people's approaches from Chainlink. There's an old blog article by Vitalik called Schelling Coin from 2014, like the dawn of Ethereum, that is very prescient and it foresees a lot of the sort of research questions here. So I'll be talking about all that, different trade-offs, pluses and minuses, ways that you can measure attack resistance. I invite you all to watch that in a few weeks. Other than that, the research team is doing lots of interesting stuff. One of our PhD students, Jamila, who's a PhD student in law at Paris 2, is currently doing a stay at Cambridge and is going to give their talk tomorrow. So check that out if you have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I will say at this point, William, we have already done something with most, big English universities, right?
Many, at least.
Yeah. So if you happen to be at Cambridge, you can go to see Jamila's presentation about the workshop about Kleros. I mean, you were there at Cambridge a few months ago, William, at the Cambridge International Arbitration Day, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
We also have some things going with Oxford. There is like an open position for a PhD researcher at Oxford to research decentralized justice. And if you are interested in doing a fully funded PhD at Oxford in computer science, you can watch the video that William recorded a few weeks ago, and then you can see all of the umbrella of things that you could potentially research in that context. And we are potentially starting to collaborate with another university from the UK, doing some joint research. I cannot say that much yet, but there might be, if all goes well, a conference. It will be the first ever mechanism design for a centralized justice conference in history. We did some conferences in the past. We did one at Leicester on the Brexit day. We did one at the Sorbonne in Paris. This was when was this? 2020? That was right before COVID, William?
The one at Leicester was in January of 2020. The conference we did at the Sorbonne was in 2019.
Okay, so we already did some conferences, but those were more, I mean, a part of those conferences were about mechanism design, but the rest was about law or business, and so it was like a general purpose conference. So now we are planning to do one that is specific on mechanism design, to gather in the same room all of the people who are researching, peer prediction, social choice theory, game theory, of course, in the fields which are relevant for the type of research we do at Kleros. This is going to be probably at the end of April. So, of course, we will give you more details as we have them. But for now, if you happen to like mechanism design in game theory in Kleros, and you happen to be in the UK, or you're willing to travel to the UK, save the date. I think it's 25 or 26 of April, but we will confirm later. Why these good vibes between Kleros and the UK? Well, I discussed this with Rob Dean, who is one of our supervisory board members, and he's from the UK. And our thesis is that there are two important things. One of them is, well, the UK is the home of computing. As you know, well, Alan Turing was from England. And also there is this common law system, which seems to be to fit very well with Kleros. And this is our hypothesis of why so much interest. Why the UK loves Kleros, basically. That's the way to put it. Okay, so we have that, and this is also about research. Then we are also preparing a bunch of things for DevCon. Well, William already said he has a talk there. Clement has a talk about what I mentioned before about SEER, about the prediction market. I got rejected. I mean, of course, I'm okay. I'm not smart enough to get a talk at DevCon. At least I got invited to speak at some side event. I'm going to be there as a host in a panel at the Parallel Society Congress organized by Logos. I'm going to have a very nice panel of discussion about decentralized law with two really cool people that I really admire a lot. One of them is Eric Alston, who is a professor of the University of Colorado, and he has worked a lot in blockchain governance, and he is an advisor to different blockchains who are starting to build their constitutions. And the other one is, I cannot say the real name, I will say the name by which people know him in this ecosystem, which is Layer Zero, and he's one of the key people in the governance of Maker. So we are going to discuss a bit about law, how this is decentralizing, and what this means for blockchains and for real world applications. So that is one thing. And the other side event where we are going to participate is another organized by SeedGov, which is a community that started in Argentina, and well, now it's spread everywhere. And we collaborated with them for like governance stuff, basically trying to push the use of Kleros in different DAOs. And well, they are organizing an event, a governance day, and we are sponsors there. And yeah, so we're going to participate there as well. Anything else to mention about this, Jean? About the SIGGov or something like that? No,
No, I think that's it. I'm very very curious about the logos event because I don't know how people will react to the situation where we have the Mendoza program happening and people are trying to build states and they need a justice system. So yeah, I'm very curious.
Have you seen also the venue? Spectacular, it's the place is amazing, and we are going to. I mean, I'm going to be at the panel, and then we will have Jan, who is another one of our PhD researchers, who's going to do like a Kleros workshop, like hands-on Kleros workshop, like we do at universities, and she's going to like help people to like vote in a fake Kleros case. I mean, we could use one of the cases we have at the Supreme Court, maybe. So yeah, I mean, one of the things for people who maybe were not aware of this, so we announced an agreement with the Supreme Court of Mendoza in Argentina, which is Mendoza is one of the most important provinces. A very nice province with very nice weather and very good wine, especially if it's properly curated. And in this agreement, so they are going to start using Kleros as a decision-making tool for cases that happen in the peace. What is the name exactly in English? Peace judge or peace tribunal. Well, there is in a tribunal that is in Mendoza, in Lavalle, which is a department within the province of Mendoza. And it's not going to be binding, but it's going to be a tool that the judges for consumer and neighborhood like claims will start using to support their decisions. It's kind of Kleros providing a expert witness community decision making for helping speed the decision making process of judges. And this week we already had a bunch of media asking about this. There was an article published at a very important newspaper from Argentina. So yeah, it was very cool. If this works as we expect it to work, it can be replicated in many different places. So yeah, so this is going really, really well. That then, as for me, working on enterprise use cases, business development stuff, the kind of things that you cannot mention until they happen actually because of confidentiality agreements and stuff like that, which sound boring, but well, that is how the enterprise world works. So as soon as we can mention things we do, like we it sometimes take like over a year. We are working very closely with an insurance company, and we are going to very soon start a pilot with them, an insurance company, real life insurance company with cases, known everywhere in the world. So we are going to start loading some cases into Kleros very, very soon. So if you speak Spanish, do stake your tokens into the non-technical court. I think that's the one we are going to use. We'll let maybe Marcos give us some updates from business development. I think it was a non-technical court, Marcos.
Hey.
Hey.
Yes.
Yes,
Sorry.
go.
Okay. Yes. Well, for the ability, we have a few updates. In first place, what you mentioned, the pilot cases. We are working in a pilot case for a very important insurance company. We still can't mention the name, but well, the pilot case is almost ready to be created, so it's going to be created. I think we are waiting for Federico's confirmation. So when we receive it, it's going to be created in the blockchain Technica. And for the Mendoza case, we are going to work in a second pilot case that is almost ready. That one is not waiting for Federico's confirmation. That one is ready for the confirmation from the guys from Mendoza. And it's going to be uploaded, I don't know, tomorrow or early next week, because everything is ready. And then in the business development team, we have been working in other things. We had a call with BQ Labs, that is an insurance protocol that is looking to use us as the arbitrator for insurance claims. That's something Wang Mian and Alex is working. And then, well, I've been doing some research these weeks about fintechs to contact in Argentina. That's maybe our next step here in Argentina. But it was a week with a lot of movement. Well, today I had another call with another project. Yesterday too. So it has been again a week with a lot of movement. Oh, yeah. Well.
Yeah, and it's starting to be increasingly clear that the main markets that we have at Kleros, at least in the enterprise segment, are like fintech, like banks, neobanks, which have lots of disputes between the company and the customers. Insurance, tons of insurance cases could benefit from Kleros decision making, and insurance cases are sometimes they are not that low value. I mean, insurance cases like in personal injuries or like damages, stuff like that, could be several $1,000s, which it still makes more sense to go to Kleros than to go to court, especially because of the time. Kleros can decide way faster. Well, we are now making a lot of progress in the field of government, as we mentioned in the Mendoza case. So government small claims courts can profit from Kleros for speeding up the decisions in consumer, neighborhood, kind of disputes. And then also we are also studying other use cases. Some of them a bit more futuristic, which I don't see as like a short term, but I do see them as a high market potential growth in the middle term, like the more gaming and esports and the social media. This can be very big in the future, and then yeah, and also shorter term, maybe e-commerce type of claims. Also, we're going to focus a bit on that. So all of that about the enterprise segments. So the big thing for us in this now is insurance. I mean, there are thousands of cases of insurance every day. So if we can make this work in this particular pilot, we can scale it to lots of other insurance use cases. Jean, do you have anything else you want to comment today?
Yes, a couple of things. One of the things is that Alex and Juan worked on a project to create a kind of a funding mechanism for pop-up cities like Aleph y Crecimiento or Suzalu, and it uses some strategies of DeFi with a multisig configured with Kleros as the arbitrator of this multisig. It checks, for example, if the strategies are the ones that people agree to, and it can even handle changing signers, and it's very interesting. Maybe it will get adopted by some of the cities. And another thing is that we are running a contest, a prediction market contest with Forland about the U.S. elections, and there are prizes in PNK, and there are very good prizes for the top 100 predictors.
I mean, how good should I participate?
Yeah, I think the first prize is, I believe, maybe $1,500 in PNK, or around that. This is the first prize. Of course, even if you get like the worst prize, you still have more than the minimum stake to stake in the courts. So I recommend this to everyone that Maybe you already have a stake in Kleros. You already, as he's a juror, but you want to invite your friends to also join Kleros. Maybe this is the best way possible to do it. Ask them to participate, and they will win some PNK and join.
One time I asked ChatGPT to make like a fun like a slogan for Kleros, and I think it answers something like, Kleros, make justice with your friends. No, so yeah. So I mean, I guess it's just, I'm not endorsing it. I'm just saying that ChatGPT suggested that.
Well, I think it's a lot more fun to review cases if you are talking with your friends. So sometimes the cases can be fun as well. I remember the Owaki case, looking to the side, and so
Kleros, where justice meets entertainment.
yes,
yeah.
So I highly recommend doing this because we still have, I believe, maybe 40 participants, and there will be 100 prizes, and there are a couple of weeks to go. So yeah, do that, and of course, join Proof of Humanity. And we had shared the incentive program rewards at the beginning of this week, and we are rewarding only projects that are not tagged by the block explorers. So it was we had a little less entries, but the entries were rewarded more. So I recommend everyone to also check that. It's easy to make a submission, and you might tag a project that is not like it's not on the block explorers. You will be doing a favor to the project and to yourself because you win some PNK as well, and also help us create a more complete database of registries that is open to everyone to integrate with. And I would like Guangmian to talk about this, but we have been providing at Etherscan these tags, and we now have like a significant amount of tags on
I mean,
Etherscan.
This is becoming very big. So, but the thing with Wagner is that, I mean, it's very hard to bring him to the community calls because he's in Singapore. It's like, I don't know, maybe 4 a.m. for him. So, but I think that someday, we will bring him so he can explain exactly how that works. But this is one of the apps that we have seen more growth in the sense of having like a super big list of non-controversial, non-fraudulent addresses in different chains. And this is, I would say, from a communicational standpoint, it's maybe the underexploited, element of Kleros gene, because I don't think many people know about this. So this is something, I guess, that we should bring Wang and to explain exactly this, and yeah, but this is working well.
Yeah, it's incredible, and now that lots of layer 2s are receiving attention, and they have their own block explorers. They are based on Etherscan. There's still lots of things to tag, so there's lots more value that Kleros can still provide. So that's why it's a good idea to check the rewards program.
Well, and I think that's it. Oh, you were mentioning the pop-up cities. I was invited just yesterday to Vitalia is the name, the one that is going to is happening in Honduras, in Roatan.
Yes,
yeah, they invited me to go there and give a talk there, but I mean, it is at the same time as a DevCon, so I won't make it this time. But I mean, I will certainly go to Central America at some point in the near future, maybe early next year. So I will probably go. They say the place is lovely, Roatan. Must be. I knew about the place before knowing about Italia. They chose the right place to put the pop-up city because it's a very, very nice beach. So yeah, I mean, yesterday they invited me to that place. Okay, I guess that's it. anything else, Jean? I don't, or might be forgetting. I already covered lots of things. Kleros 2.0. So the main thing is we plan to launch this before DevCon, the light version of Kleros 2.0 for the lower value cases, consumer and stuff like that. Okay, well, that's it for today then. Thank you very much for coming, and see you next week. Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Everybody.
See you next week.